don't want to. He's an anti-Pauline Christian.
I don't know what that means.
He rejects the writings of Paul.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I think he's also. This is something I found out. I think he's more of a Torah observant Christian, which is like the first person I actually knew that was Mr. Batman. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He was the first one of that ilk that I knew of, and when I found out that Toast was one, I was surprised. I wasn't sure if he'd always been that way, if that was something he'd more recently come in. But unfortunately, he's not gracing us with any confirmation of any of these things. Now, some of his more controversial stuff, I'll leave.
Well, why don't you, if it's okay, what was the meme or the picture that he put up that you said you wouldn't tolerate? What was it?
A raccoon meme.
And that is bad because?
That's obviously indicative of being derogatory towards African American black people.
A raccoon is derogatory of black people. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
In old terms, coon is the shortening of that, and that.
Oh, you're referring to coon? Yes. Now. Yeah. Now I know. Yeah. Now I know. Yes.
Yeah, I will not tolerate.
My friend told me he calls them raccoons. He calls them trash pandas, and that was the first time I ever heard.
They're actually surprisingly smart creatures.
They are. They really are smart.
Which is weird, right? Because don't they have pretty smooth brains? Like, I thought that was like...
Most carnivores do, from what I understand.
Yeah, he watched that raccoon come in his garage, grab a bowl of cat food, hold it in a hand, and then knocked over one of his beers that he was sipping on it and drink from the beer bottle as it was dripping beer out of it and run off with the cat food.
It was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry, that's smooth intestines that carnivores have, not brains. I totally had my biology mixed.
Well, I think there's like a couple other examples that break that mold. So it's like, I don't know, I thought that was the indication or the fold, you know.
What is a smooth intestine, Lucas?
It's not as a carnivore's intestines are not as pocketed or is not as long winding of a intestinal setup as like our omnivore or herbivore.
Push that shit out quite literally, putrefying meat.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't quite understand the reasoning behind Toast's, his sporadic cynicism, or I guess he enables like irrationality, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm crazy" or something. I don't know. That was like the first time I've been introduced to him.
Yeah, I've known Toast since about 2017, and I will say this: in his attitudes and in his demeanor and the way he carries himself and the way things usually end up going, he's very consistent. So I have to give him that. He's extremely good. You're always gonna get the same Toast, except if he's been drinking. But I think that's true for all of us. A slightly different version of ourselves. No, but Toast used to, because they all did. See, I came from that Tom Rabbit community. That's where I started this whole thing. And man, if you survived the roasting from that group, you could survive almost anything. Holy. Toast, we're all severely disappointed in your silence right now. Is there anybody down there in the audience?
I would argue that
Andrew's crew became far more like aggressive because
And he also had people that he had to protect, right? We see this happening.
Yeah, but I'm talking about early on. I'm talking about like in
the old days.
Yeah, I'm talking like at the end of the Krillism into the beginning of when Tom and Godless Girl kind of like had their own respective servers. Those days were much more the Wild West than Andrew and his room will ever have. I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
Sorry, I'm eating. It's very rude. I apologize. Tom was somebody at one point. Even if that person was like, effective moderator in the old great debate days. Like Andrew, I mean, he's a person, obviously, right? But with the Pokeballs and all that, like it's difficult about like management and mitigation more than anything else.
Yeah, Tom still has that personality type. He still has all those capabilities. I think he just got bored with it. He used to be about cultivating the groups and the rooms and the big crowds, but in the last few years he's been much more about just having a very controlled small room of who he wants in there, and a constant action is just not a priority. Which I wish. Is being recorded. Do that. It's like I don't know. Discord was the original king of this kind of community, but I don't know. Just the way it's set up, without having ease of access to the general public, it's way more nerdy and techy to have to get actually access to rooms and servers in that place. I think it just kind of cultivates a much more isolated type of experience rather than what this place did. I got tired of it. I left it.
I'm sorry, real quick. Why are there more animated betas on Discord than Clubhouse? Why is that?
Because they are going to have a much easier time getting away with saying just about whatever they want. Whereas in a place like this, it's much more strictly monitored because there's much higher traffic. They're not going to be able to get away with saying half the crazy shit that those guys say. So it's a much, even though it's still, you have to be careful over there, it's still much easier to get away with saying just absolute garbage over there than it is.
I've heard that word a few times before. What the hell is an anime debater?
Anime debater is like similar to a debate, bro. I mean, it's based on this really strange phenomenon that we've noticed, especially with people that tend to come from the more orthodox traditions, and they want to come on and debate, like Jay Dyer acolytes. All these guys from these more Orthodox or Eastern versions of Christianity, they love to have anime characters as their profiles, as their PTRs. And so all these debate bros who just like would get into like this severe, like just think of I don't know what he goes by currently, but Mason or Arabesque or whatever his name is now. Think of him times 10, and just being absolutely hung up on strictness of philosophical language and delivering arguments. I mean, very, very strict and very, very unforgiving about it. And then having absolute horrible attitudes, and then having an anime as your anime picture as your profile. It kind of became a. Like even Converse has an anime as this thing. I mean, what is that? What is it with the anime? Why do all these guys so fit? And it's male. I don't ever see, unless I'm wrong, I don't think I've ever seen a female, or very few, with anime profile.
So you've got like femcel, incel that lean into anime community, but then you also have it overlapping with like other communities, right? There's something about anime that's always been very important to the Black community. It needs to stay that way. You know what I mean?
but with the anime debaters, and especially with what confused me is the severely orthodox types adapting that symbology, or that's how they represent it.
So, can you give me an example? Because I'm trying to understand what you mean by that.
I don't see as much. There's not going to be as many examples here because they don't hang out here as much as they do at Discord. But if you can get into a Discord server,
Discord far more.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to Discord, oh god, who's that guy? Gregory? He's a big time man. He's a pre-suffer. A lot of the pre-suffers do the anime debate shit.
But they will have literal anime characters, very often female characters, as their PFPs or their whatever they call them over there. I forget. Yeah, PFPs in Discord world is your profile picture.
You think it's all to do with like? I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're fine.
You think it's all to do with? I've had this thought before. Like, not all anime is the same, of course, but a lot of the mean kind of like common garbage anime, they still kind of pander to a stoicism that I think like is in Japanese culture, and I think that coincides with the stoicism of.
Yeah, but the anime has nothing to do with anime debating, right? The term is just because like the technique first got popular about people arguing who their favorite cartoon characters were and like hypothetical situations they'd be in, like who would win, Goku or some other person, right? That's fair. Like that's where it came from, but it had nothing to do with anime.
No, that's fair. I think along the way we've ended up covering the territory of anime debaters, but also those who use anime in their PFP. I guess I was speaking more to the latter.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of.
Why would a pre-suffer even want that?
There's a lot of coincidental link up there because a lot of those debate bros. The other word for them is debate bros. A lot of those guys, they will have anime profile. It's crazy. Now, given my daughter is majorly into Eastern culture, Far Eastern culture, and she turned me on to a couple of those, like Death Note, absolutely fascinating. Attack on Titan, pretty darn crazy and fascinating as well. Now,
Overlord, that was a great series.
I haven't seen that one yet. If you recommend it, I'll check that out. But most of it annoys the absolute hell out of me. But okay, cool. My daughter actually went. There's a local Comic-Con. It's not Comic-Con. It's called MTAC. That's this thing they do here in Tennessee. It's kind of like a Comic-Con for Tennessee, or I guess that's what it's about. But anyway, she actually dressed up. She made herself a Death Note costume. She was literally a big Death Note walking around. You could open the front flap and sign it. She got like 350 signatures on it. She couldn't get 5 feet.
You open the cover and you see her boobs.
This is my daughter we're talking about, bro.
Oh, sorry. So amazing.
How could you possibly say something like that? What the fuck? It literally starts off saying this is about my daughter. My fucking daughter.
I seriously don't think he connected that in his head.
No, there's no excuse. He wasn't paying attention then. There was no way he was paying attention to anything you said if he forgot.
Yeah, I wasn't listening very closely. I'm out playing ball with my dog.
I had my clip.
But it is funny. It's funny that
why
happened.
don't you why don't you shut the fuck up if you're not going to pay attention to the conversation? Why not just maybe just shut the fuck up then if you're going to not pay attention to anything.
I just love having my Clint Eastwood Charles Bronson moment there for a second, where I said, "It's my daughter, bro," and dead silence. That scared Jude straight just then.
Yeah, I'm outside playing ball with my dog right now. I can't listen to anything.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Now you gotta say something inappropriate about his dog, Andrew, because that's.
Your dog has one testicle.
Yeah,
I don't.
You're right. Your dog has big tits.
Something like your dog. When you open up your dog's costume, do you see big?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Like when I take. That's what every Halloween I dress her up. Like first I put fake boobs on her, then I put her in a giant book, and then I tell people to open it.
Oh, somebody else has got their dog with them too.
And Jude is also a Death Note fan.
Crazy.
You know what? I stopped after. I think I watched the first full season, and I think I started part of the second. But for some reason I stopped. I don't remember why. Like, it was really good.
It does have some laggy spots. It does have some laggy spots that you kind of get through to where.
Yeah, maybe it just got too slow at a certain point, and came in, and then I never went back. I don't remember why.
It's slow. No, Judd. I honestly, I can only speak for myself, but I feel the same way about that show, and it's garbage.
Which one?
The first half of the season, great. The second half, pretty good. But yeah, there are slow bits, and that could be the reason why I stopped. It's years old now, so I do not remember at which point I stopped, so I couldn't tell you if that was the reason.
Yeah, listen, I am no anime connoisseur, but I enjoyed that one, and I enjoyed now Attack on Titan and those. You had to push through some laggy spots where
I never got past like the 4th episode on Attack on Titan. Like, it's not even that I disliked it. It just didn't resonate with me at the time I was watching it.
Yeah, for some reason it did for me, but I totally respect that. But it did. Those I've tried to watch a few others, and I get kind of annoyed with it after a minute. But and also I think there could possibly be another reason why a lot of maybe guys, incel types. I don't know if you guys have noticed how they tend to draw females in the anime world, but
what do you mean, Andricus? Could you please tell us more? Describe.
Well, let's say they're wearing a costume. Let's say they're dressed up like a book, and you open up the front cover of the book, right? What would you expect?
And it's your daughter?
Not this time. Anyway, my daughter did get me to watch another one with her because it's something we would do when she was still in school. So I did watch some of Naruto. I did watch some of that. And that one blonde master, what the fuck reason could they possibly have had for giving a blonde?
Are you talking about Tsunade?
Yeah, those are my names.
Yeah, she's actually like in her 70s, but she uses a technique to look like she's 30.
Dormammu, she calls him. She's channeling from Dormammu.
Huge tits, yeah.
I mean, just absurd. I mean, that was the most absurd one I've ever seen. When I saw that on screen, I'm like, "You've got."
Well, Asians are big on huge tits, right? Because the Asian women just tend to have small breasts, right? Partly genetic,
that's why they make
partly because they don't have a high calorie diet.
Okay. I just remember watching that, and I just laughed so hard when I first saw that character come on the screen. And my daughter's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, it's just absurd.
Important for her interaction with the pervy stage, right up to the point where then they undercut all of that playful and silliness with, spoiler alerts, when he passes and she realizes it, she's just broken.
Yes.
Andricus, if I change my profile picture to a picture of Vegeta, would I not be an anime debater?
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you would be. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not the expert on that. You'll have to. I think you just got an expert opinion from Toast, though. So.
Wait. You don't know who Vegeta is, Andrew?
I don't know if I made it clear already that I am not any. I know three. Barely have a grasp on 3 anime series.
Yeah, Elliot, give him a break, Elliot. Come on, man. He's an old boomer. Come on, man. Just let the old man alone.
Now.
I ain't that much older than me. Come on, man.
Let me tell you something.
You have to use a cane when he walks around, Elliot.
I think actually, check this out, you young punks. Listen to this. I actually may have been one of the earliest purveyors of anime in the United States back in the 70s. There was a series called Star Blazers. Do you guys remember that, or did you ever hear about that?
Dude, I was born in the 80s.
Maybe it was the early 80s. A science fiction series called Star Blazers, which I think was one of the first science fiction Japanese animes to make it over to the US. I loved that show. It was so cool. Introduced just a lot of cool technologies and ideas and characters and everything. So, gosh, who knows? If more of it had been presented, maybe I would have stuck with it. But that was the only one at the time that I was aware of.
So you were an anime debater back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't really do much debating.
We need to teach. We need to get Andricus onto Vegeta.
No, I'm good. I think whatever amounts of anime are already in my life, that's plenty.
It's almost like not even. I mean, there's Dragon Ball Z, and then there's everything else. Sorry, go ahead, Carl.
No, I'm sorry. I'm literally just like jumping in the middle because it didn't hit my head right away. So Andricus, I mean, I didn't used to, well, just like I guess when I was getting more into like anime, watch, because it's like of a genre that's a space military, and but more recently there's a couple of like sci-fi space military ones that I've seen that I really like. But I think Starblaze is just like, yeah, it's from the 80s. That's like
it's like one of the originals. I'm pretty sure it's one of the first ones that made it over to the U.S.
It's they call it space opera and it's going to be military science fiction. Yeah, it's funny, space opera. Anyway, I'm sorry, Elliot. No, you're right, Elliot. It's like a trope, or not trope. It's like a backbone. Yeah, it's a staple. You know.
Speed Racer is probably one of the very first, right? That kind of made its way over. Oh, Speed Racer, we must go very fast. Oh.
Man, the shit that I was watching when I was a kid was like Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, I watched that too. Yeah, that's amazing how that cross-generated.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Thundercats, He-Man,
Thundercats,
G.I. Joe.
Fucking Magic School Bus.
Sorry. I'm just a Bill, a lonely old Bill.
That's really good, Andrew.
Sitting up on Capitol Hill.
Like, so kids are the biggest market center, right? So everything in a half is made for them. And anime is like super effective at that. And there's no doubt other reasons to do that when kids. But I just want to say, like, you look at some series like okay, something that kind of maybe bridges the gap would be like Mob Psycho, because it's still so much shonen-y, but also it's a bit more challenging philosophically, psychologically. Or you could look at something like a Netflix series, The Blue Eye Samurai, which is just so well done, right? And it's like a period piece, and it's not all that shonen jump in Naruto trash.
He felt that he was being forced to feel empathy for others or whatever. So, both came to the same conclusion. I just think he did it in a genuine way. So he suggested instead, okay, people should show sympathy. That's fine. Or that's a good thing too. Clear that he didn't show sympathy for George Floyd or Paul Pelosi or whoever he didn't feel was worthy of it. And, that's his thing. That's his prerogative also. But the bigger problem is now when people on the left, like a Jimmy Kimmel or someone else, doesn't show adequate sympathy, or actually says, instead of saying nothing, says something that doesn't show the performative sympathy that, that the right is doing right now, they get canceled. And I thought we were against cancer, but I guess not. So, it's just a lesson in you have to show the performative sympathy that the right requires in order to not get canceled by the right, who is railed up and down against cancel culture. That's it.
Pretty sure I'm in the queue now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like, real quick, just point of moderation, and then you got it, dope. It sounds like that niggas want to get their rocks off, right? and I see what Louis and AK is trying to do. Y'all just trying to like just be chaotic, right? I'm not opposed to being chaotic, right? But let's just wait till the queue, and then once the queue goes, you guys can rage bait each other all you fucking want, right? And I'm actually getting ready for a date, so at one time
take us on your date with you. Take us with you.
No, y'all niggas got it after that.
But
seriously, y'all have to stop hijacking the conversation for y'all little petty beefs. It's annoying.
I was on topic. I was addressing the point. I was tying it in. I was tying that crybaby.
Nobody was saying anything when Brad was calling everybody a faggot.
Oh my God, here we go again. Nope, we're going past that. He's not even here no more. So
thank you for the feedback. I know what you're talking about. I was doing that with Concrete. You're right. I should have waited my turn and did my.
I appreciate that, brother. All right, go ahead, Dope. It's your turn.
Yeah, I was going to talk about, we probably haven't even brought it up because that shit show that we just witnessed, but about 10 or 15 minutes ago it was brought up how, Charlie Kirk isn't not much different from Nick Fuentes, and that the discrepancy between their viewpoints was not much in a function, in the most basic analysis of the two, and that's just false, obviously. If you're going to be, it's one thing to criticize Charlie Kirk.
On the key point.
Yeah, on the key points, too. On the key points. What would count as the key points? Immigration? Yeah, you could say Charlie Kirk is, basically, Charlie Kirk is Donald Trump. If you think Donald Trump is the same as Nick Fuentes on immigration, you don't know Nick Fuentes. You don't know the Groypers, bro. All it takes is just a very minuscule analysis for these people's viewpoints, and you'll understand the difference. This is like me saying AOC is not much different from freaking Marxist communist who wants to destroy all capitalists. I could understand on certain points where you feel Charlie Kirk is more far right than I would like for the average right winger to be, but he's not Nick Fuentes. And just go to an average Groyper account on Twitter and you'll see what I'm talking about. They were calling Charlie Kirk a cuck to Jews just 2 months ago. So it's not the same at all. And I think for people to kind of paint him as that, it goes to show that, I don't think it's going to help our political dialogue if we're going to ignore those types of nuances. You could say what you want about Charlie Kirk. He's not the most extreme far-right person. He's pretty much the average MAGA political pundit. And say what you want about MAGA, that's Charlie Kirk. It's not the same thing as the average neo-Nazi. I know you don't want to believe that sometimes. A lot of left-wing play the two, but they're not the same. And calling Charlie Kirk a Nazi is not going to stop any of the actual Nazis from moving further right, unfortunately. And I say this as someone who fucking hated Groypers and still hates Groypers. So we have to be honest with each other.
Is that the insurrection on the Capitol?
Q.
Can I be thrown back in the queue?
Carolyn, can you add me?
Yes,
can you add Ashley?
Yep.
You heard me?
I got you. I guess.
Carolyn, I'm next in the queue, correct?
Oh shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm next.
I don't know where I am. I didn't write it down.
No. Done. After done, then it's Go Poppy. Then after Go Poppy, we'll go back to Louis, and then Ashley.
Okay. Wait, you forgot about me?
Oh, I apologize, Pure. My bad, Pure. So after done, it's Pure. Then we'll go from Pure to Louis. Pure Gold, Louis, Ashley. Cool.
Okay. It was supposed to be Gold and Pure, but all right, go ahead.
No, you wasn't Samoa.
No.
So I'll put you to the end of the queue.
No, not me. I don't want to be in the queue.
Okay, I want to clear something up real quick because I don't move away from things that people say. I'm not here to do performative. I'm not here to just get my rocks off. I'm actually here engaged conversation that's being had. I think it's a good conversation. But I want to I want to address something ferociously attacked. Okay, when I brought out the point that Charlie Kirk disrespected George Floyd in his death, okay, but now people are asking us who don't really care for Kirk to have empathy and sympathy and don't be disrespectful of him and his death. Somebody admit, now I'm not gonna mention names because I was told not to, but I think we know who it was. Somebody came off the mic raging, saying you can have sympathy for that criminal, empathy for that criminal. He put a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach and all this stuff, and just raged and raged and raged and raged. Now I was called out earlier because I had to eat it, and I had to humbly eat it because someone said, done with it. That whole Carrie Underwood story is a meme that was started on the internet. That was an internet thing. Well, here, I'm going to up you one. That what you just said was some shit that was started on the fucking internet. And Candace Owens and all of these fucking right-wingers who didn't care about whether it was truth or not, they fucking ran with it. And I'm going to prove it right here. Okay? I want you to listen to this. I'm going to prove it right here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 hot second. Give me 1 hot second. Right here. Okay. This right here. It says, according to fact-checking organizations like Politico and factcheck.org, here is the breakdown of the false claims origin, the real incident. In 2007, George Floyd and five other men broke into a woman's home in Houston, Texas. Court records show that Floyd placed a pistol against the abdomen of the woman, identified as Arcely Henriquez, and forced her into a living room while others searched for items to steal. Floyd pled guilty to the crime and served 5 years in prison, so he paid his debt. The false accusation. Shortly after his death, an Instagram meme began to circulate. That made several fabricated claims about the 2000 robbery. It falsely stated that the woman was pregnant, that he beat her, and that he threatened to kill her baby. The meme also used a photo of a different woman, Andrea how do you spell this? How do you say this name? This last name? SICIGNANO. Andrea, who was the victim of an unrelated assault in Madrid in 2018 and claimed it was Henriquez. This misinformation spread widely on social. Let me finish. This misinformation spread widely on social media platforms. High-profile commentators, including Candace Owens, repeated and amplified these false claims. Factchecker.org sources have identified these statements as inaccurate and have highlighted that the court records from the 2007 case do not mention that the victim was pregnant. Okay, so what I'm saying to you with this here, your hatred for this man and trying to, make it not what it was, racially motivated, disrespect of that man's humanity. You were so fucking hell-bent on denying this man his fucking humanity that you were willing to accept some bullshit off the internet. But you want to talk to me about fucking Carrie Underwood and come off the mic yelling and fucking shit. Do like you told me. Do your fucking your fact-checking and shit. Okay, because that is fucking poor scholarship and that is unfair to that man. Like I said, this guy here, okay, made fun of a dead man, but now and called him a scumbag, okay, and can continue to pump the lie that this man died of fentanyl when both corners said opposite. Let me land my fucking plane. I'm landing here. Shut up.
And fuck Charlie Kirk. May him rest in peace. May Charlie Kirk rest in peace.
We were just having a civilized conversation, and now all of a sudden you guys are acting out of control. I don't know if Nathan came back or what, but we were just having a civilized conversation. I'm saying if anybody interrupts anybody during speaking, I've already got warnings, you will be dropped to the goo. Please allow Dunn to be finished. We have a queue. If you want to be added, just put it in the chat. Please don't come on stage trolling. Go ahead, Dunn.
Thank you, sir. I'm landing here. I'm landing here because, listen, I don't care about all this extra shit. You can talk about me putting emphasis on it by, kind of raising my voice a little bit, cursing a little bit. That's just me putting emphasis on it. I'm standing on the actual documentation. The fact of the matter is that is a meme that was started. They used a photo of another woman in another situation and replaced the original woman. And the bottom line is he didn't do that, okay? He did not do that. The man did 5 years in prison. He paid his debt. Okay, he paid his debt, but yet you guys pumping that false lie because you hate this guy and you hate black people. Just call it what it is. You hate black people and you want to undermine black people's petition for justice as it pertains to the police department because you really hate black people and you're pro what the police do to black people. Tell it like it is. Just be honest, like the person said earlier. Be honest and keep it.
You realize he was in the event of
All right, excuse me. We have a queue. Excuse me. Yes, I got you, Brad. Guys, we have a queue right now. If you want to be able to speak, I got you. But right now, please don't interrupt the stage. So next we have Go Poppy. Go Poppy is going to go. Then after Go Poppy, it is Ashley. Then after Ashley, it is me again. Oh, sorry. My bad. Sorry. My phone's glitching too. So it's Gold Poppy, Pure, Ashley, Louie, and then after Louie.
I thought I was gold.
No, I thought you were. No, let me look at the chat again. Hold on. Shit, I'm gonna have to write this shit down because it's too many people in the chat, and my phone is glitching.
That's that Android.
All right, well let go. While Gold's talking, I'll just update it in the chat. Go ahead, Gold.
Oh, you can put me in the queue too. This is Coco.
I got you. Go ahead, Gold. Are you there? Going once.
Yes,
Gold,
I'm
are
here.
you there? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I think, like, again, and I hate to sound redundant, George Floyd was a criminal. He had a criminal record, and that's a matter of a public record, right? However, having a criminal record, and mind you, I lean more towards the right, but I also have a brain where I can think to myself, I don't play fucking Power Ranger team, right? George Floyd had a record. However, him having that record of multiple offenses isn't a rap sheet for a death sentence, right? Only a courtroom gets to decide a punishment, not a fucking knee on the neck. So, yes, while he had a criminal record doesn't erase humanity, right? It doesn't hand the police the right to play judge or jury or an executioner. Justice means due process, not a knee on the neck or not fucking street executions. Same thing with Charlie Kirk, right? Like, yeah, a lot of people didn't like Charlie Kirk. But guess what? There were tons of black people that loved Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk invited tons of black people to colleges to speak. I was literally just watching him do a video where tons of black people were praising him at the conference, and they were praising him in the comments after his death. So you can't control what people are going to think. You can't control what people are going to like at the end of the day. Now, on both sides, to where I forgot what Shorty's name was with the edges. I don't know. I think she left. But to her, what she says is disgusting. No, not Dawn. The other chick with the long ass hair. That was being rude. I think Jazzy. She left. Louis? She's not here. No, not Louis. I don't know. What's the girl that was just here that was like, rest in piss, Charlie Kirk? That's what she just said.
Oh, Concrete. That was Concrete. No, that's a man. Don't worry about it.
No, that was a woman. Her name was like horrendous. What's her race?
Oh,
yeah, heatheness. Yeah, what heatheness was saying.
Honestly. Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let you land. Eric, I need you to help me with the queue in the chat because my phone is glitching bad as hell.
I updated it.
All right.
You did skip through it.
Make sure you add Simon. Make sure you add Brad and who else wanted to speak?
Oh, me.
Who is me?
The guy down here.
Oh, that's
who the fuck is the guy?
No, you gotta say my name. You gotta say my profile name.
Coco, make sure you get Coco in there as well.
I just want to say, you did skip Pure. She have to go. She have to go off the goal.
Yeah, she's gonna go off the goal.
Good luck putting my name in the
add faggot ratted
faggot.
I am gonna start. It's a large stage and it's a large queue. I am just gonna drop people if y'all keep over talking. Go ahead, go. Then have to go to speak.
Yeah, start off with that bitch after you're rich.
Yeah, so I just want to hit some facts. I want to start off with acknowledging the facts. So, yes, George Floyd had a criminal record. Charlie Kirk said controversial things, but here's what matters. What matters is neither of those things, because death doesn't justify that happening to anyone, right? Now let's hit the core principle of it. In a civilized society, punishments come from courts. They don't come from knees. They don't come from a nigga with a 200 fucking yard shot with a sniper rifle on top of a school, right? So if we excuse death because we dislike someone's past or we dislike someone's politics, then we've just completely abandoned justice for vengeance, right? And if George Floyd's past justifies his death, right, then do we say that every addict or every fucking petty criminal deserves execution? And if Charlie Kirk's words justify his death, do we say free speech ends with a fucking funeral, right? So if the answer is no, then that means that both deaths are wrong. Justice means defending life, even when we don't like the person. Because once you say some lives don't deserve protection, then you open up the door for no one to be safe.
That's
so
what Charlie did.
So just please interrupting me. Fix your edges first before you talk to me. Thank you. Before we even get into that, and yeah, if Charlie said some shit, then he's wrong. I don't give a fuck if it's Charlie. I lean more towards the right. You think I'm here to ride niggas' dicks? I don't give a fuck what Charlie said. If Charlie said something's wrong, I'd personally say to that nigga's face, you are wrong. I don't care. When he was talking about that whole agenda of like, yeah, you know, if a woman gets raped, she should keep the baby. I thought that nigga was crazy for saying that. I thought he was bugged the fuck out. I was like, yo, yes, I like Charlie Kirk, but you're wrong. So niggas need to realize just because niggas rock on one side, they rock on the left or they rock on the right, doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and condone what somebody said because they wear a fucking MAGA hat and because I agree with 90% of what they said. He could have said 90% of the greatest shit of all time that I agree with. If the 10% of what he said I didn't agree with, I'm not going to agree with it. I'm not a dick rider. That's one thing I am not, for sure. So whether it's left or whether it's right, a lot of you niggas want to be wrong and strong, and you can't be both. You can't be both wrong and strong. You got to either pick a side. Like, niggas like to debate, but they don't back down and be like, you know what? Yeah, you got it. I might be wrong for that. I might be bugging for. Like, niggas want to stick so hard and ride on their own dick of what their own opinion is that it's just like this narcissistic attitude. Like, nigga, you're not going to be right about everything, and you're not going to be wrong about everything. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But when you do lose some, you have to be humble enough to look at things objectively. And what? Actually, I might be bugging for that. Let me take a step back and look at things objectively. But no, a lot of you like to use your emotion, you use your anger to refute your logic when it doesn't make sense. Take a step back. Calm down, go take a fucking walk around the block, get a chopped cheese in Arizona, smoke a blunt, and then come to your senses and realize what the fuck that you're actually saying on this app. George Floyd didn't deserve to die. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to die. Whether you agreed with both of them niggas, whether one was a criminal or one was a nigga that was outspoken, it don't fucking matter at the end of the day. That nigga didn't deserve to get shot in the neck. He had a family. And another nigga didn't deserve to have his knee on his neck. Both of those niggas died from neck incidents, and they didn't deserve that, point blank, period. And I don't care what anybody else says at the end of the day. That's my fucking point. Land.
Hello, my name's George. Coco loved everything he said, especially the dick
All right, it's Pierre's turn. Rich, if you interrupt, you're going to get dropped, bro.
I believe that people have a right to feel however they feel about whomever. But as you're feeling, however it is you're feeling, I'm finding that a lot of people have instead of consulting with the God in them, have made themselves God and made them the arbiter of who should die and who should live. It's almost making me feel like we're back in the days of Caesar, whereby watching somebody die was a form of entertainment. Have we become so callous to the value of human life that we don't see the value anymore? Now, I'm not to be totally transparent, I'm not mourning Charlie, nor am I celebrating his death. I'm not celebrating his life either. I think he said some rather abhorrent things that I don't agree with. However, I'm not celebrating the fact that he was shot. Both Charlie and George had value to their life. What I'm wondering now, do you think there is a way that we can have discussion that makes us reflect on the value of life, of our own lives, of how we're valuable in the world, and can we make their lives mean something? Whether you feel like it's the worst of the worst or the best of the best. Are these people who are just, dying in vain and their reputations are in a dirty alley somewhere? Because I've found, this person deserves to be in hell, that person deserves to be in hell. And the only person who really gets to say who deserves to be where is God. And last I checked, none of us were that. Because if I were God, there'd be a whole lot of people here and then probably a whole lot of people not here. So yeah, I would just respect implore you at some point during this conversation where everybody has a right to feel the way they feel and has a right to voice themselves feeling the way they feel. If we can eke out some value for the world regarding both us and land.
Thank you for that, Pure. Eric, who's next in the queue, darling? Even though you're really not a darling, but who's next?
Give me a second. I got you. It is Louis.
Did I again?
No,
You're after Louis.
I was after Pure.
Yeah.
No, I was after Pure.
No, the queue's raised.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. He's allowing Ashley to go, so go ahead, Ashley, and then go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead, Louis.
Ashley, which one you want? You want to go first, or you want to go after Louis?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Louis.
Man, y'all being real petty right
Go
now,
ahead.
bro.
Can you hear me? Go ahead.
Is Louis there? Louis, you there, love?
I didn't get it. Go ahead, ladies first.
Go ahead, Ash.
All right, Ashley, go ahead.
Let's roll.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I just wanted, I shared it in the chat, but I saw something and it kind of, like I have been wondering why this bothered me so much, right? So I saw a TikTok and it said in 2020 found out who would be okay with killing a president. In 2025, I found out who would be okay with killing me.
Wizardry and witchcraft.
And it struck a chord with me. And I think a lot of it right now from the conservative side is fear. Because we're seeing people justify and celebrate somebody's death. Somebody that a lot of us share, not all, but a lot of the same views as. And I think that's the truth and that's the underlying matter. It's fear. And I think a lot of people discount that. And not a lot of people are speaking up about that.
Now this is interesting and you must understand.
Was that it?
I landed.
Word. Yeah, I mean, that's another a nothing emotional talking point. No one wants to kill you. Again, you guys cry about the guy and then you keep pushing out the crybaby, the left is the enemy ideology that keeps pushing people towards radicalism. I appreciate submissions like Pure's and Gold's that are pretty balanced, and they're saying, hey, this is fuck shit on both sides. That's what I think we should all be saying. But there are people who are unhinged, who aren't saying that, who are forcing people to bow down or forcing sympathy out of people. No one owes anyone sympathy. If you if you thought George Floyd lived a deplorable life, you don't have to mourn his death. If you feel like Charlie Kirk lived a life speaking about deplorable thing and espousing deplorable ideas, you don't have to mourn his death, but we could all come to some sort of midpoint and say, yeah, it was fucked up that they were killed the way they did, the way that they were. But I don't think we can have that conversation when we have people trying to pull on emotional heartstrings, pushing this idea that the left's the enemy or the right's the enemy, or it's just like you're all falling into it. Like if you're not saying anything other than let's pull it back and figure out like where we've lost the point to where we hate each other so much to where we'll kill each other for our views, like then you're not adding anything productive to the sphere. If you're forcing people or saying you must cry for Charlie Kirk, you're adding nothing to the political conversation. All that shit is just like it's just like fucking like emotional.
I don't think you understand.
Emotional jerking off. What are people asking?
I don't think you. Well, I think you fundamentally.
Nah, we gotta go on camera.
Next.
No. Let me just humor him for 1 second.
No. That's not fair.
No, why so?
It's not fair. We got to keep going.
All right. Well.
Try that next.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. This is. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, just like we have to all pull it back and like be real with ourselves and stop fucking this emotional jacking off, like forcing people to feel bad about it. No, everything has happened. And like, where are we going from here? Are we going to continue down the road that we've been going this far, or are we going to like pull it back? And it seems like you guys on that side don't want to pull it back. That's the reality of it. That's what I hear whenever you guys fucking open your mouth and make a submission. It's just more tension, more them versus us, more division. But go.
All right, from the looks of it, Eric, is Simon going next?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Simon.
So just to address these points, like nobody is demanding anyone more Charlie Kirk's death. The values of America are pretty specific, and it's to abide by like basic, life requiring values like free speech. So the hope is that if we can't all come together as a nation to all be able to say that nobody should die as a result of a person doing like the most basic American values, like we're flabbergasted by people saying like this person deserves to die, or he or however they want to phrase it. The whole point is that Charlie Kirk did American things. If you can disagree, I agree with almost everything he said. It's a travesty, and compare that to George Floyd. I think it's a massive perversion of like the events that actually ended up happening, regardless of how George Floyd died. Like we can take it case by case, but he doesn't deserve to die. I think. So I mean, I don't think you understand what people are fundamentally saying about Charlie Kirk in terms of like the response that people are getting, and cancel culture is warranted for people who fundamentally disagree with the most basic values of America, because it's free speech. Nobody should die for just speaking. I use a lot.
And Dope is next. Would you mind, Simon?
Can I be put in the queue?
Am I next? Dope's next, yeah.
I think it's Dope that's next.
I think it's Dope. Yeah, it's his turn. Go ahead.
All right. I feel like Ashley's point. I get Ashley's point, and I think Louis' response has some truth to it, but it does kind of whiff over some truth that is also needs to be acknowledged. Like, I think one, obviously not everybody on the left is celebrating Charlie Kirk's. People aren't, publicly at least, and that's a good thing. That should be expected. But the fact that not everyone celebrating doesn't mean that a large amount did. And when it comes to the discussion of free speech in particular, I know a lot of people were saying that the right are being hypocritical because they're happy to see a bunch of people on the left who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death get fired from their jobs. But is it crazy to think that why was there so many people? One question is, why were there so many people celebrating, posting on social media that they were happy this guy got killed? If we have nothing to worry about in regards to, the environment and the temperature on the left, why was this so common that it needed to be complained about by the left that people were getting fired? And two, does it not worry people? I think if there was a right-wing Groyper dude who shot and killed Hassan Piker, that's another left-wing dude, very, very notable. I think the fact that there would be right-wingers celebrating would be disgusting, and I wouldn't complain about them being canceled if they did get fired from their jobs, because I don't think that's the same thing as cancel culture. Cancel culture is not equivalent of you being fired by your job for doing disgusting things in public, i.e. dancing on someone's grave. And we can't act like that's just nobody's done it, because I've been on this app, bro. Literally people do it in every room I go to. At least one person goes in these rooms and says they're happy he got shot and killed. That was a heathenist, right? That the dude with the wig on who just left, I think. So he did that in this room. So it's not completely, we can't act as if no one's actually doing this. People are doing it. And people on the right would probably do it too if it was the other way around. And that's a problem. And I do agree that Louis said we do need to figure out a way to basically cool down the temperature in general. But that doesn't mean we have to ignore the fact that people genuinely think this way. And acting as if calling them out is a bad thing. It's not. It needs to be done.
We got Brad.
Yeah, I find this. We're going to go. Oh, it's just emotional response, and then give us a tirade of another emotional response. So let's remove the hyperbolic. So I don't know. For the last since Trump came down the escalator in 2016, conservatives were kind of having their internal dynamic. We had our own revolutionary war internally, or our own civil war, if you will. Trump won out, MAGA won out over it. There was a lot of divisions. There was a lot of hurt feelings in there. Conservatives, Republicans, MAGA all came together, libertarians. We all sat down and said, well, what is the best for our party going forward? We don't all agree. And we kind of said, all right, we'll stand behind Trump. Trump got up there and he did some good things. Whether it was at 100%, no one ever looks at that. But then, the pandemic happened, and we started to see a shift in our group. We were told we were authoritarian, so conservatives sat back, Republicans sat back. MAGA was the one saying, no, we need to fight. And people were like, no, we just need to relax because the left is upset again, and we don't want to hurt their feelings. The left went on and exploded. They fired nurses and doctors for questioning the efficacy and the protocols that were in place for the pandemic. Newspaper reporters were fired. New York Times reporters were fired for questioning politics or questioning anything that was outside the norms of the left. We watched shows, Hollywood stars, music individuals get fucking crushed and canceled by the left. We saw a Me Too movement that rose out, fucking lied on a bunch of shit, and then fizzle out, canceling a lot of people on the left. Oddly enough, that fucking governor still running in New York City and has a shot to actually win it, which is fucking wild to me in its own right. But this is the rhetoric. And again, it was always there. We went through and watched them, parents in Virginia as domestic terrorists, sit there and look at a religious group and sent police to a Jewish ceremony at a synagogue and have them arrested, and watch de Blasio fucking put that on CNN Live. We watched, Ray, and various other entities under the past administration, under the left, sit there and call out and say, hey, the most dangerous thing is a Catholic fucking person in America. So we're going to just brand a whole fucking group of religious as terrorists. But then, and everybody accepts it, particularly they went fucking nuts. And then when people said, Christians on the right said, hey, this shit in Detroit right now where you have a Islamic mayor saying we're going to rename Main Street Osama bin Laden Avenue after a Hamas fucking proponent and terrorist and advocate, non-American, we're going to rename that street and the people of that town say, we don't want this, the mayor turns around and says, well, the greatest thing will be when you leave our town, we'll throw a parade so you can get out. And basically told citizens that put him in power to get the fuck out of his town because he wanted to name it Osama bin Laden Avenue. This is the weird shit of the left. And you keep hearing this over and over again. And then they want to throw it on you and say, here. And I encourage conservatives, fight back. At this point, what more do you have to lose? There's nothing. There's really nothing to argue with these people. There's no point in asking for bipartisanship. There are people that, what was that one guy? Where is he? Whatever his name is. He asked like, oh, we can discern and make for yourself. You can. In seriousness, you can. But you can't with the majority of what's going on in the left. You can't do it with the majority of the rhetoric. You had Chuck Schumer threaten a fucking Supreme Court justice, actually have to have police come out, arrest somebody who is going to commit said act, and then turn around and say, oh, it's not me, it's the right that's the political terrorist. They take BLM that occurred all across the nation in one fucking year, a summer of love, and they count it as one event. Not counting the fact that David Dorn had to fucking die and bleed out while his family watched it live during fucking a political protest. But they don't count that as violence. No. They give you these fake made-up stats based on the ADL and whatever fucking twat waffle agency on the left is trying to construe these stats in a way saying the right is more prolific. We didn't go to a baseball game and shoot up your fucking Democrat leaders. We didn't go to your justices and try to beat them. We didn't fucking blow up your fucking areas or firebomb them like you did in North Carolina. We didn't fucking do half of the shit. All you got is January 6th. And oddly enough, that wasn't even made up of all fucking Republicans. That's the weird fucking part. You guys don't even know anything about what happened. It was a Republican. I got it. And
yeah, just like him land.
And the Nancy Pelosi thing, like you throw that one up there. Who fucking cares? That was some fucking crazed menace. And again, it goes to show you that your mental health policies and your bail reform policies don't fucking work. You let a guy out who attacked Nancy Pelosi. Fucking clearly evident. You want to throw the Minnesota senators next? That was a guy in the government set up by a Democrat rule. That was your guy. That had nothing to do with us. He had no King's protest. He was anti-fucking Trump, but somehow he's ours. It's right-wing protest. When we look at these facts, all we can say is when you sat down at the table and you handed them the opportunity to speak, they shot the motherfucker that was willing to do it for nothing more than his words. They cheer about it, they emulate it, and then they're crying because they're now facing the wrath that conservatives, A, don't want to bridge the gap anymore, and B, conservatives are calling their company saying, you know what, this asshat is preaching this asshat's doing this, fire them. And they didn't realize the depth at which conservatives actually had. You should have remembered Bud fucking Light and some other things, but you forgot that shit. Now conservatives are coming after you, and they're not holding back. They're not being restrained. They don't care anymore. They're telling their principals, fuck it, we're on now, because you had not controlled yourself, and you did enough to bring them to this point. And other people like me are just going to cheer them on, grab the popcorn, and sit down and have a nice pint of Guinness and watch this shit show unfold, because you never listened to people in the beginning of this shit when we warned you and said, shut the fuck up, sit down, you're going to cause a problem. And you never fucking listened. So now we're here today. You own it, you get it, you keep it, you swallow it like you like it, bitch. And then you fucking beg some more.
Whoa. Okay, Eric. It's on Eric, Warren.
Yeah, that was wild, man. That was good. Look, you finished it a little bit, kind of.
Michael Rosado's doing game.
Yeah. Anyways,
that was another kind of finish.
All right. I'm on. All right, don't interrupt me now. You didn't interrupt him. Done. Stop spamming. Yes, to come back up. You got 5 minutes, but you were warned multiple times not to interrupt. Control yourself, son. And where do I begin, bro? It's like so much. Like, first, I want to say, go if you still here, bro. Leave my man alone. He don't want you. He wants me. Just leave out there. Shout out to Carolyn for doing a good job.
Hey, yo.
I also want to acknowledge that she called me a sweetheart. Just not registered.
That was my accident.
Nah. I did it. I'm holding on to it.
Freudian.
Yeah. Holding on to that.
She also made concrete for a bit.
She did a good job holding you niggas. She kept you on check. I ain't never seen, this is very rare for a mod to be able to control a bunch of rowdy autistic niggas. And she did it by herself. So you gotta give her that. And this conversation,
Make sure you tell Nathan that too.
Yeah, I will in the mod meeting. I definitely will tell him that. Definitely will. I'll put your hat in the ring. And also Louis. But yeah, this conversation, bro, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I give a reason, like if I don't talking about, I think I do actually. I mean, that's it. I just really don't give a fuck. Maybe I'm hearing it. I don't know. It's one of those. It's like overplayed, bro. A lot of you, everybody on both sides is annoying, bro. Like the niggas dead, it's not coming back. It's not gonna change nothing. There's gonna be another Charlie Kirk, and niggas gonna die tomorrow. Like people, you just can't help it, bro. People are going to die. That's just the grim reality of a real. Crazy people do crazy things, and unfortunately, people suffer from that. There's nothing you could do. Debate crying about whose fault it is really doesn't help, right? Because like nothing changed, bro. People have been dying over political rhetoric since like Abraham Lincoln, bro. Like what the fuck, that nigga got killed because people didn't like what he was saying. Yeah, so like, bro, this is like all this like emotional appeals to like the wives and the type of man he was, and then we go back to George Floyd and January 6th and BLM, bro. Like this is nonsense, bro. We gotta look to the future, bro. We gotta like talk about new shit. Like, what do you think the economy's gonna look like in 5 years? You think like people are gonna get like better wages, or like are we gonna still be a country? Like that's what we need to be talking about. Like we talking about shit that really don't like impact people's lives. Like, you need to be talking about like gas prices, housing prices. Like, do you think your kids will afford a house? Think they'll be able to go to college?
No,
like nobody's ever.
No.
Yeah. And we in here debating Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is not that important, bro. It's not. I just hate to break it to some of y'all. You may hold him like as like white Jesus, but he's not that important, like in the grand scheme of things. People are going to forget Charlie Kirk. And about, I'll say about 5 years, people are they're not even going to remember Charlie Kirk. He'll occasionally come up in like a political conversation, but other than that, he's not going to be an MLK or like some JFK or something. He's not at that level. He's not, disrespectfully. But I'll land there.
All right to that. Hello to the room. Sorry if I'm whispering right now. I just put my 2-year-old baby girl down for a nap, so I'm not trying to be too loud or anything. So, blessings to the room. Now, I witnessed a lot of things have been said in the room today, and unfortunately, oh my goodness, and of course he left, but my buddy Brad is not here to hear my voice. But I would definitely say that when it comes to extremism, there are extremists, of course, on both sides of the aisle. Now, before I say this, let me just say that, and I always say this, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I'm an American. Amen. I don't owe my loyalty to any party. I believe that parties owe all of their loyalty to their voters. Amen. And so with that being said, I don't think that no one person should be a loyalist to any particular party, because that party may change and start to have ideologies or views that you personally may not agree with. And you may then change course in how you view things politically when it comes to your own political party. So with that being said, that's why I say that it is not healthy to be a loyalist and to think that any particular political party owns you. It's actually the reverse. Your party owes their loyalty to you, not the other way around. So with that being said, when extremism, of course, it is and it's studied that a lot of the extremism when it comes to terrorism or domestic terrorism has come from the far right, and this has been for decades. Even when you talk about black city massacres, going on, just the mess. And you talk about Black homes and cities being burned down when it was allowed to happen by its own state and federal government. When you talk about the assassination of, for example, Abraham Lincoln, the president that did abolish slavery. When you talk about the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, it goes to show that these extreme practices that's been done for years have mainly, when it comes to murders, have mainly been done by the far right or people with conservative beliefs. And when I say conservative beliefs, I mean under the umbrella of white America. When I mean conservative, because there are Black people that's conservative as well. So I want to make that differentiation or that difference there that I'm talking about under the white America when it comes to conservatism. Now, with that being said, and I'm going to land with not land, but landing that point on, there's extremism on both sides, but it's already been recorded and studied that a lot of the domestic terrorism that have been a result of an extremist has been from the far right. So with all of the Republicans now saying, oh yeah, the left has apparently been doing this for years, and the left this and the left that and the left this and the left that, the right has been doing it for decades. And it's unfortunate that when one of their main influencers are shot and killed, all of a sudden it's a victimhood mentality, and all of a sudden it's apparently it's only the left that's committing these murderous crimes and things of that nature. So, that's one thing. Now, someone brought up cancel culture, and I'm going to make this my last point. Someone brought up cancel culture. Now, the thing is, and I think they try to conflate cancel culture with an executive branch threatening or infringing on our First Amendment rights. Now, it's because of our First Amendment rights that we Americans can practice what is called or have been considered cancel culture. And when I say cancel culture, I mean, like, for example, when everyone got mad at Target for, I guess Target, I forgot what Target had did, but everyone stopped, going to Target and all of a sudden. No, it definitely wasn't training stuff. And it sounds like chest finders. Hello, why are you talking, bitch? Shut the fuck up.
Bro, you rap.
DEI Coco. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
DEI Coco love.
DEI, yeah, it was an anti-DEI when they did the DEI rollback, and all of a sudden people got mad and upset, whatever have you, stop going to Target, whatever have you, because we have the right to do so. That is cancel culture. That is cancel culture when people cancel certain artists for something that they said, like celebrities for something that they did or said. That is cancel culture. But when you have a government branch that is infringing on your First Amendment rights, that is not cancel culture. That is then an infringement on your actual right from a government branch. Not, this ain't no, I'm gonna stop listening to K-pop because apparently K-pop people, artists are racist and blah 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 blah. Yeah, that is not that. I'm not a government official that's infringing on their rights and saying that they can't speak or trying to suppress or whatever have you. I'm just not listening to them. But when you have what is the executive branch that is supposed to be our head of our nation, representing the United States of America, you have the actual head of the executive branch having this divisive rhetoric in this day and age and time in 2025 and in the time of our King and Lord. You have him saying, even before they even knew Kurt's murderer, and blaming everything on the left extremists and the left this and the left that and the left this and the left that. And that's just a key word for Democrats. Now, mind you, Democrats, the last I checked, represented over 50 million American citizens, 50 million. And I think when Biden was elected president, I think he received like the highest votes of president in American history, and that was like over 60 to 70 million. Democratic voters. So when you have a president of the United States of America threatening over a demographic of people that represents 50 plus million American citizens, that is a problem to me. When you have the head of the executive branch threatening regulatory actions for people that don't agree with him or don't align with his beliefs when it comes to certain people, and then infringing on their rights, that is a problem to me. Because that is not the president of the United States of America. That is a president of a Republican Party. So I'm just going to land there in saying that, like, and when it comes to cancel culture, that we can practice that because of our First Amendment rights. But when you have an executive branch that is attacking your First Amendment right to do that, that is a problem. And I land there. Thank you.
We got Rich. Rich, so sweet.
Oh yeah, what's up? No, I mean honestly, I just want the Civil War to start. Us on the right, we have all the fucking guns, all the munitions. We'll fucking eviscerate all of you fuckers. I think it should just start sooner than later. I don't think we should drag this shit on because you guys all want us dead. So I mean, the quicker it gets started, the quicker it gets done. I mean, it's gonna be bloody and nasty and disgusting. But you know, some things just have to be done. George Floyd was a piece of shit. He was a scumbag who fucking, you know, was a 2-bit fucking crackhead fucking thief who fought the police and was screaming while he was still sitting in the car. Mama, I can't breathe. While he's sitting in the car when they're saying, hey, can you just please get out of the car, sir? You know, we need to talk to you. What's funny is, you know, the officer put his knee on his neck. You know, used to work with George, did security at a fucking nightclub. Him and George Floyd used to work together like 10 years earlier before George went off to become a fucking crackhead, fucking meth head, heroin addict, fucking junkie, you know, that's passing off counterfeit money and shit. And, you know, and then Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I liked how, I can't remember who it was earlier, said, you know, that I think it's Pure or something, and her dumbass summary where she said, you know, that we don't need to put people on one side or the other. And I like how you alluded to George Floyd and Charlie Kirk, because one's actually good on the good side and the other's bad on the bad side. So that actually worked pretty perfect. But yeah, I mean, I just tell all the conservatives and people on the right, stock up on your ammo, stock up on your food, your vacuum sealed food and shit like that. And we'll get this shit kicked off and we'll get it done real quick. And we'll have to all these little fucking whiny little fagtards on the fucking left, you know, bitching and whining about, you know, the conservatives, because they'll all be fucking dead. So it just let's initiate the fun.
All right, some more. Go ahead.
And fuck all you faggots.
Coco, how'd you get the rolling eyes emoji? I need that right now. Go ahead, Simone. I'm sorry.
You should have it.
It's on your thing.
Some more. Are you there? I guess not. All right, we're gonna move on to Inkin. Inkin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, Eric, you were wrong. I told you that wasn't a love note in the bullets. I heard you. The messages came out. You pointed out the memes. It's okay. I'll take the W. You can take the L.
I never said that.
Okay. Reclaiming my time. You okay? So
one was for birds.
Like I was saying. All right. Look, this is kind of fucking simple. Number one, I agree with Eric. This shit is kind of boring. I don't know why the older people get, the more they want wars to happen within their own country. I feel like they're afraid that something historic is not going to happen in their lifetime, which, by the way, it's really not fucking not on the scale of whatever. But the thing is that there's this weird thing where it's like, do you approve of? And you could be like, no, I don't approve of.
What if us on the right allow you to kill all the pit bulls and can you be on our side?
Yo, ain't no time to hit me with propaganda.
I will let you kill every
Okay, listen, but this is what I'm trying to say. Look,
and the puppies.
When people say celebrating, it's like, no, I'm not celebrating. I don't approve of it either, right? But then there's this thing, well, if you're not celebrating it and you don't approve of it, then you should denounce it. And that's where I think that's kind of like weird, because this whole thing of this whole political thing revolves around not admitting that you're wrong and trying to prove that the other side is not right. That's the whole thing about it. This is why it's not enough to say, yeah, I don't approve of what happened, not celebrating it. Like, you need to denounce it, right? Regardless of the fact. Well, what did Ben Shapiro say when the Quebec shooter was, consuming his media like a motherfucker? Hey, my rhetoric has nothing to do. Okay, cool. All right. Sure. I mean, what am I going to do about it? Cry about it? No. Okay, well, just keep it like that, right? I don't have to approve of something, and I'm definitely not celebrating it, but that doesn't mean I have to denounce it, right? I just don't approve of it. And that's like the problem. If you're not saying we were wrong, like that South Park episode, like we were wrong, then they want to get you in this weird spot where, like, do you approve of it? And it's like, nah. But by the way, if you look up the stats, how many mass shooters in America, where like they go and like, oh, what are they consuming? Like, oh, what are they consuming? Are they consuming right-wing propaganda? Right? Exactly. Are we going around saying, like, well, admit to me right now, like, look what he was reading. It's something predicated on violence. These things aren't congruent. They don't line up. Feel like this is just a headline. There's not this amount of coverage for, I don't know, when kids get shot, like, mercilessly. There's no push for gun reform, even though, like, the father's like, yeah, my kid had depression. He was on the pills. He stopped taking the pills, and I left my guns out in the living room locked and loaded like every other fucking day, So yeah, it's kind of fucking boring at this point. Just want to say I don't approve of it. I want to end on that.
Don't you worship a moose?
All right.
Wait, who said I worship a moose?
All right.
Bro, I know you're not talking, bro. I know you're not talking with the ticket masala with the fucking like. No.
All right, we're on mic. Mike, are you there?
Yo.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go find your spirit animal.
Oh yeah, bro. Go eat some cow, bro. I'm pretty sure that's allowed in your house.
Eric, can I thank you, Eric?
All right. So I'm sure a lot of things have been said. So the first thing is that it doesn't matter what I feel in regards to how people celebrate anyone's death. They have a right to do it. They don't have a right to fucking call for more, right? And people have a right not to hear it if they're on their platform. It doesn't fucking matter how distasteful what the person is saying. I did it when Trump won. I came in this room and I was like, bah, fucking laughing at everybody, whatever. I was allowed to be heard. People didn't like it. People were ever, but I was able to say what the fuck I'm gonna say, and that it fucking is, right? But that should not be confused by saying, hey, look, not allowed to give misinformation in this context, right? It's not. It's not the same thing as saying, hey, it's this room. We don't want to hear it in here. We don't want to hear it. People have a right to say what they want to hear on their platform. Go start your own platform. YouTube, Instagram, they got a billion shit. If you want to be heard, you want to talk, go ahead. And if people cry about it, too bad. Change the channel. Do what the fuck you want to do. Doesn't matter. People going to go piss on this guy's grave. It's someone's property, but at the end of the day, if that's what they say they want to do, it is what it is. So people are going to do what they want to do. Here's it, though. Claim your own. Claim your fucking own. I heard Brad talking about what the fuck is it called? The thing that at the Capitol, the insurrection. You know what? I'm happy to say they're all Trumpers. I don't give a fuck. Claim them. This shooter right here, he was a fucking tranny. And the only reason why I care about the claiming is because the left-wing media started the narrative as to who he belonged to. I would never care to even fuck a finger because I felt it was so obvious. So say what you say, no matter how wide or whatever, how balanced, but claim your own people, bro. That's it.
Is there a cue or can I?
No.
Mike is so silly.
My turn. You weren't here?
A little bit.
But I let you go. Then it's my turn. Go ahead.
Appreciate you. To everybody that talks about this freedom of speech that we should all have, I think it was Coco that kind of mentioned something about the executive branch doing this. So I guess I'd direct the question to anybody who's on the same side as Coco. Do you think that there should be some sort of intervention if corporations or figureheads of corporations blatantly lie to you? Or should there be no regulation and they should be able to do whatever they want?
It's a touchy subject. It's the First Amendment, just like gun reform.
Just answer the question, please, so I can keep going. yes, it's to anybody. Should there be a regulation on what figureheads that represent corporations could actually broadcast to you, like a public, what is it called, for public benefit?
Public interest.
Yeah, I want more regulation. I want more regulation in government. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a biased like group of people that do that, right? They could like be put by political power, like we have with the FCC. Yeah, I'm all for it. There's nothing dystopian about this line of reasoning.
All right, so you don't want a person exercising their freedom of speech by soliciting or describing like pedophilia or something like that on the public airways, right?
Have you seen how the right gets pissed off at fact checking on Twitter? No, look, man, I think it's slippery slope, bro.
Oh my God, I just let them finish, bro.
That's crazy. All right, anyway, yeah, I think that people that are following the narrative of the government is bringing or silencing somebody's right to freedom of speech, I think you should just investigate it a little bit more, be a little bit more intellectually curious on the actual technical aspects of it, right? Like the devil's in the details. And a lot of the times when I'm listening to a lot of y'all, you guys don't know what you're talking about. And it's unfortunate, but hey, we're here to get better.
You can add me to the queue.
Yeah, that was a nice deflect on the fact that you don't have an answer on who would regulate that, but it's okay, bro. Win some, lose some.
The FCC done.
All right, it's my turn. Go on, don't disrespect me, bro. I didn't interrupt any of you. And this is the ink, and I don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. You have bad memory. It's all like the drugs and shit you done, bro. I've never once ever said that the guy wrote a love message on his bullets. I don't even know where you got that from. I don't know. It's like some.
Dewey said that you did, and Mike said that you did. So I would like you to attack him right now on stage, right fucking now.
Hold on. We got Mike right here.
That's 100% cap, bro.
Yeah, I've never said that.
Wait, Mike, you being a bastard, bro. I said Dewey. I caught you. You were wrong. You were saying it was a love letter, and I was like, nah, this is.
I never said that.
Dewey said you and King.
So this conversation, I
can't remember anything, Ethan. God.
Yeah, I take it that you mean this conversation
when you thought strongman should be intentional.
You just said Mike, and then he said
this was right. This was right after I cooked you with your kid. Rather do weed in the car or smoke crack on the sidewalk.
I know you want to cover up the drug-induced hallucination you had, but just give me a second, bro.
I don't do drugs, bro.
So everybody heard you. You said Mike and Dewey heard me say this. So I'm taking you're trying to paint the picture that they had.
So I pinned Dewey, and they said it was you.
You had this conversation. Were you wrong about that? When I wasn't here, right? But even if that's the case, nobody in this room since Charlie Kirk's dad has ever heard me say that it was a love letter or message.
It was pointing out to his love to his transgender partner.
I never said, bro.
Hey, bro, I need to find out who the fuck had that fucked up take. I know King was one of them.
Did say it.
I'm trying to just. I swear to God, I was arguing against Dewey. And then Dewey said, I never said that. That was King Solomon and Eric.
Nah,
I was like, I know it's King Solomon, bro. And I could have sworn Mike's there.
Bro. Nobody heard me say that shit. You made me.
All right, bro. I was like,
that wasn't me.
Oh, it was knowledge. Wait, it was knowledge?
He even said it was knowledge.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well,
yeah. Look at you.
Knowledge is cooked, bro.
You gotta lay off the.
Yeah, bro. I just don't know. Bro, that take was so brain dead, bro. Like,
Eric,
what the fuck?
It's the Lunchables, Eric. It's the microplastics.
It's okay. No, it's the vaccines that have autism.
This has happened multiple times, dude.
It's crazy.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mike. My bad, Mike. You did get cooked. You did get cooked with the. Would your kid rather do weed in the car or? Even knowledge, bro. Even knowledge said so, bro. Even knowledge said so, bro.
Look, here's the thing. First, let's not get off. Let's not distract. I know you're trying to do that. Let's let Eric do his victory.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
I'll be in the car smoking pot while you're on the sidewalk on crack.
Look, I know it's hard for you to control it. Like, come on, just let me finish. Right, so you try to come in here and defame me, bro. I don't know.
My God,
that's just like an idiotic take. I don't even like.
Dude, you're a lawyer. At least try to say slander, bro.
I don't think that like I would even like if I was like high, if I was off like crack or crystal meth, I would make that dumbass point, bro. Look, but with that being said, yeah, I have to say with Samal, man. And I said this earlier, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Like a lot of you guys on the left and the right, when we had this conversation about Jimmy Kimmel, like you guys misunderstand the protections of the First Amendment and how it's supposed to be applied and what it actually does. A lot of people are conflating a lot of different things, right? And the powers that the government actually have when it comes to regulating certain types of speech that is broadcasted through the airwaves, right? And it's just like what the FCC said, right? It's totally legal, right? What he said that they had the power to do, or what they might do. That's totally legal, right? Now we can get into this game, and I even agree with Hagop and Dewey earlier. Is that we can say that the regulation that the FCC, they like to pick and choose when they like to apply the rules to certain people. Absolutely, that's just how politics work. Rules for thee and not for me, right?
Or it can be equated, Eric, to the border. Like one administration enforces the border and one doesn't.
When the administration changes, so does the rules, right, for certain people.
Yeah.
And so we can agree there, right, that they will apply the rules selectively, right? But we can't say that because he said it that they're like breaking, like you are violating your First Amendment rights. They're not. They're not. Just like this. Please stop saying that. This is idiotic. And it just makes my brain cells jump in fear of getting your idiotic disease when I hear people say it. Also, what was the other point somebody had said? It was the Donald Trump thing or Jimmy Kimmel. Trying to track here. It was also that people were talking about look, even the First Amendment things aside, a private company deciding to silence their employees. Bro, it's a private company, bro. If they feel like they don't want that person out there saying something that may be harmful to their reputation, bro, you gotta agree with it. And the left, you're no stranger to this. The left has always, been the people screaming and defending private corporations for silencing people when they said something idiotic. And now all of a sudden, when it happens to Jimmy Kimmel, you want to boycott Disney and you're for free speech. All of a sudden, get the fuck out of here, bro. Both sides are just retarded. I don't know. It's
cancel culture.
I said back, bro, and you niggas is just dumb. It's just honestly, nobody has a backbone when it comes to this conversation at all.
I do. You want to bet? You want to bet here? You want to bet?
Yeah, hold on. People just flip flop like a fucking screen door, bro. Every couple months when the headlines change, people have different stances and principles, bro. There's nobody in this room that I think from since 2020 till now that has held the same stance, in principle. Never.
I have. Samoa has always been getting.
No, you haven't. You flip flop as well, bro. Real shit. Respectfully.
Can you give me an example of what I flip flop?
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to do that right now. But
okay, gotcha.
We can get into that
baseless accusations.
I can definitely can turn you into a medium rare steak later, bro. Just give me a second.
It's kind of weird, bro. Why are you thinking of meat, bro? Don't think of me and meat in the same sentence, bro.
Who go easy?
Haram, bro.
Who go easy? Is it my go? Is it my go now?
Bro, that's
haram. I guess I put me in the queue.
Ain't nothing wrong with meat, bro. You gotta enjoy that. You gotta enjoy meat.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna let you pause yourself right there, bro.
Nah, I'm not pausing, bro.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with enjoying meat, right?
Yeah, you gonna eat the meat.
Bro, you not, bro.
No, come on. Okay, so enough of the gay shit. Enough of the gay shit. Yeah, enough of the gay shit. So Aries, yeah.
Y'all keep interrupting. Look,
girl.
Yeah, so with that being said, where was I before he interrupted me and I had to go tell him about my meat? Damn. Anybody know where I was at?
Yeah, you're saying you enjoy meat.
You niggas not having a backbone. Yeah, and this is on both sides, bro. It's a shame that we allow partisan politics to get in the way of actual discourse and community building, bro. I didn't know. Maybe it's just a modern thing about ignorance because I wasn't born earlier before. But maybe this is a new thing in my era of being alive, where people are so down to ride for a political party that really don't give a shit about them, that they're willing to cut bridges, make an ass out of themselves, and just do dumb shit. in the sense of like actually going out and killing and harming people is just that's delusional, bro. Like if that's the way that our country is heading, especially with younger people, bro, we're fucked. We're doomed. I think we're in the age of like that Adam Sandler movie, bro. We're like a couple years away from that shit. No. We already have people wanting the whole like UFC matches at the White House. Like we're already there, bro.
We're already there, though. We're already aware. Actually, we're already aware.
Yeah, so I just land there, bro. I think you niggas gotta grow a backbone, bro. Stand on principles. Stop.
Okay, so yeah, now my turn. So yeah, with that being, I gotta go longer. You didn't let the plane land. Now I gotta go back around. I gotta talk. That's because one of your wheels fell off. That's why. Yeah.
I thought you put me in the queue, Eric.
No, there is no queue. After me was popcorn, bro. Y'all got it.
Motherfucker holding popcorn hostage, bro.
I'm at the end of the queue. I'm at the end of the queue.
Oh, you at the end of the queue, man? All right, that's fine. After you, it's popcorn. So, damn, before I was rudely, skipped the line to land on the runway, I'm going back to my second approach. You got to grow up, bro. The politics is not that serious, bro. None of this shit affects you in your personal life, bro. None of it does. Like, none of this national, LeBron, Curry logic of like political thinking, it doesn't work in your actual life. It's just like maybe it's like an online persona thing. Just chill out, bro.
So
really, is it my go now? It's my go now.
Oh, it's all go. My bad, man.
All right. So I've been listening to you guys for 2 days now, and Eric is
2 days is crazy.
Yeah, since yesterday we've been having discussions since yesterday, and I'm listening today, and I had to go back and look at something. So first of all, what the chairman of the FCC said is not wrong, and it also does not violate First Amendment right. Like, it pains me to listen to you people not even understanding what the First Amendment is and what it is applicable. It is only applicable to the federal government, to the government. You can say whatever you want to say against the government. You can express yourself. You can you have a freedom of assembly against the government, and the government cannot do anything against you. Now, this is where the confusion is happening. Under public airwaves, you cannot dissipate false information. Now, you guys need to know what is the public airwave. ABC, NBC, CBS, all the radio station, AM and FM, your local broadcasting network, Channel 13, all those public access, those are public airwaves. Those are public airwaves. You don't pay to receive them. The difference between CBS and MSNBC and Fox, they do not fall under the FCC regulation. So MSNBC, your CNN, your Fox News, they do not fall under that. This is why they can lie and get away with it, because they don't fall under the rule, because you pay to receive that information. It's like a podcast or whatever the fuck you watch on YouTube, you pay. Now, this is where the parallel comes in. What the chairman says about Jimmy Kimmel is exactly what they did during the COVID thing. You cannot dissipate bad information. And that's why they restricted all these people during COVID who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about vaccination. It is in the public best interest. The government has a duty to protect the public. I cannot go on national TV and say, we are being attacked by Russia. They will take me off the air, because I am creating confusion for the public, and the government has an obligation to do that. Jimmy Kimmel, I didn't really hear what he said, but based on you, he published bad information, right? He published bad information. And the government have a duty to say, because you're on a public access channel, which means you don't pay for it, you just get it on your TV for free, you cannot dissipate bad information. This is why on your 6 p.m. news, you don't see debate. You only get the news the way it happened. There's no debating. There is no innuendo. There is no I think. They just tell you what the news is.
I have the last tortilla. I'm not going to eat it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you off in there.
Right? They just tell you what the news is.
Savor it. Sorry.
Now, with that being said, regarding this whole Charlie Kirk situation, I've always said this, and I've been saying this since I got in this room. Every empire falls from within. Those are the kind of things that kills empires. If y'all can't come together and figure something out, like that idiot, what's his name again? Rich just said, pack up on your ammo and your food and start your civil war. And then we can just divide the country into 50 little pieces, and then I'll live in the Republic of New York, and then we can keep it moving.
Period. You better say that, man. Yeah, go ahead. Let's start this civil war so we can go ahead and whoop their motherfucking ass. And when I say they, I mean anybody who try to touch me and mine. Democrat or rebel. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's get this shit popping, okay? I don't care who the fuck you is. Try to roll up on me and you will get fucking faded. Now, with that being said, now, when we talk about Brendan Carr, which is the chairman that you're speaking of, and I find it really, let me get in my car because I live close to the airport, so I get a lot of airplane traffic where I am at, so I want y'all to be able to hear me when I say what I'm going to say. Now, when we talk about Brendan Carr, C-A-R-R, we're talking about someone who literally said during President Biden's administration, because there were a lot of political satire when it came to conservative podcasters and influencers saying things about Biden or whatever have you, blah, 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 blah. But anywho, Brendan Carr, this was in 2022, and I personally went back in his Twitter to see if he actually said this, and he did. He said, President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms, plural forms, of free speech. And he goes on to say, it challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. That was the chairman that you're currently talking about, Matt. Just in 2022, he was like, political satire is fine, especially in forms of free speech. And I find it interesting how people want to dismiss the whole infringement on the First Amendment, and they don't even know what the fuck Kimmel said. They didn't even listen to what he said, and he said nothing wrong. This isn't information that he was saying. This isn't disinformation that he was saying. He wasn't going out saying, "Oh yeah," and the shooter was a fucking white KKK murdering motherfucker who was this and that. Before they even, yeah. Why are you talking?
In the chat now.
Yeah. Here, Kimmel wasn't spreading mis or disinformation that was on that was false. He was literally shedding light on the situation, saying his opinion, and basically saying you can't put shit out and expect for these types of things to not happen to you. And he wasn't even talking about Kirk. He was talking about his killer. That's what he was talking about. Right? And when we actually have a president in 2025 on Truth social media, on his little whatever social media platform that he got, advocating for the censorship or the firing of late night individuals who don't align with his ideology. Hello, are people not seeing this? Coming from our own president of the United States of America? Hello? And then when these private, quote unquote, companies are actually doing the things that the executive branch wants them to do, mind you, and this isn't mis or disinformation. This is literally an individual practicing his First Amendment right, talking about the killer. And Carr goes in to say what the fuck Matt just tried to say he said and fires him. And gets the network to fire him. But in 2022, he didn't have the same rhetoric. So what happened? Was it the administration that changed? I think so. So I can't stand it when people literally do things like in front of our eyes. It would be different if Donald Trump was keeping his motherfucking mouth closed when wasn't advocating for certain people to be taken off of the air, and people was going out saying, yeah, Donald Trump is saying this. Donald Trump is trying to get so-and-so off of the air. Donald Trump is trying to get the FFC to intervene and threat regulatory actions and blah, 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 blah. It would be different if he wasn't saying these things. Then it would just be speculation. But Donald Trump is actually saying this shit. And when people act oblivious to the lines that are connecting the dots, it really pisses me off because y'all really are making me pulling the veil from over my eyes because I really thought Americans were smarter than this, and I really thought a lot of Americans would be able to call a duck if it quacked. But they're not. They're literally not. And it's the cognitive dissonance that's really pissing me off about this whole situation when I talk about the infringement of the First Amendment right. When literally every time, whatever Trump doesn't like that doesn't put him in a positive light, that doesn't put him in whatever light or whatever happened, and he doesn't like what they said about him all of a sudden, trying to either diss them, he's trying to either say fucking obnoxious, he's trying to say these things, he's trying to say, fire them or get them out. Who talking? Oh, my bad. My bad. Shots be fired. Whenever my bad career. But pure is correct. Like, it's crazy how when Trump literally goes after people that don't put him in a positive light, and then when people be like, Trump is trying to go after Jimmy. We already know what Jimmy Kimmel's position comes to Trump, especially when he was talking about his son's open heart surgery and some of the legislations that Trump was passing during his first term that Kimmel had a problem with it because it was causing issues when his son was having fucking open heart surgery. So we already know how Kimmel feels about Trump. And now Trump gets the second term. Trump is advocating for this motherfucker to be taken off the air. Trump gets a motherfucking person that has him in his pocket named Carr, a chairman of the FCC, to say, oh, well, we took this person off because you can't say this or you can't say that. You can't say this and this information. You can't get people all riled up and say these. Mind you, he was only practicing his First Amendment right because nothing that he said was wrong. Nothing that he said was wrong. For the people who actually listened to what the fuck he said, nothing that he said was wrong. So Eric, I don't know what the fuck you talking about, but you can shut your shit the fuck up. Because you wrong too.
Nah, you're wrong. It's all right.
Oh, shut the fuck up, nigga. You wrong. You wrong and you know you wrong. So anyway, back to what the fuck I was motherfucking saying about was really interrupted. Kimmel didn't say not one motherfucking thing that was wrong. And we already know how Kimmel feels, and I'm gonna land here. We already know how Kimmel feels about Trump. So now that we have Trump actively using people that he has in his pocket to get certain people out of the air that aren't in line with putting him in a positive light or sitting on his motherfucking dick. All of a sudden, people can't. Oh my goodness, that is what it is. Him doing this and him doing that, connecting the dots does relate. 1 + 1 does equal 2. Apparently, all you got to say, all a person got to say is fake news, and all of a sudden, people can't. All of a sudden, people question 2 + 2 is equal to 4 anymore. All you got to say is fake news. And all of a sudden, people can't multiply no more. People can't read no more. People don't have common sense no more. All you got to say is fake news. So, that's my issue. And we have really got to connect the dots and start calling things a motherfucking thing. If a president is using his executive power or using his influence to take people off of the air that don't positively have him in a light, that is a fucking issue. So stop fucking acting like it ain't. And stop fucking acting like it's not happening. And I'm saying this as a fucking federal employee. Now, Aaron, you just motherfucking said that, whatever the federal government does doesn't personally affect you. We have to come up with a budget. I'm a federal employee. That's not what I said. Shut the fuck up, because that is what you said.
No, it's not.
That is what you said.
No, no.
That is what you said. You said it does not affect you personally.
Don't lie. Because I said this situation.
So what did you say, Aaron, before I continue? What did you say?
Team politics don't affect you personally.
You said what politics?
Team politics.
Team politics?
Yes.
What is that?
You don't know what team politics means?
You said team or team? No, with an N.
No, team. As in like football team.
What does a football team have to do with this?
I'm trying to explain to you what word I was using.
Let him land.
Okay, so regardless of the fact, as a federal employee, I am personally affected by anything that our executive branch does. Personally, we have to come up. There has yet been a budget for a resolution for our budget. Our budget is going to run out, guys. Our Congress, they need to hurry up and come up with our next year's budget, or else we're going on a government shutdown. The federal government employs over 600,000 American citizens with families. If we go on a government shutdown, mind you, we aren't politicians. We don't have stock. We don't have trade. We don't have all of these funds or whatever have you that our politicians may have. We're just regular citizens of America, just trying to pay our bills, right? And getting our bills paid. Not trying, but getting our bills paid. But if the government goes on a shutdown, we don't get paid. As long as the government is on a shutdown, our checks don't post. We don't get paid. But our bills still need to be paid. Our car note still needs to be paid. Our car insurance our rent still needs to be paid. Our mortgages still need to be paid. But if the government goes on a government shutdown that is already controlled by the Republicans, even though there may be, disagreements within the Republican Party, but the Republicans overall control Congress at this point. And if we go into government shutdown, because the Republicans are already trying to say that it's going to be because of the Democrats that we go into government shutdown. If we do go on a government shutdown, I hope we don't. Period. And so just with that being said, whatever the federal government does affects me personally as a federal employee. So we have got to stop having this And I'm not saying that Eric was saying this because he did correct his, correct. I was standing corrected by what he was bringing up. But whatever the federal government does will affect all of us. It's affecting all of us now, especially our federal employee. And so we really got to just be. Now is not the time to be divisive. Now is not the time to be inciting civil war. Now is not the time to be shunning your neighbor. Now is the time to actually unite, like usually presidents do during this time. But apparently we don't have a president that wants to unite the people. So with that being said, I land. And thank you so much for letting me fly my motherfucking plane to you. All right.
Can I get a chance to speak now?
I called it in the chat.
Yeah,
I've been waiting.
Yes, matter me. Yes, I did, and I'm gonna get railroaded. I'm not get railroaded on this one. Okay.
I can't never get.
Okay, first off, okay, it wasn't his making fun of Trump what got him fired. It was the comment he made about the coward on the roof when he said that coward on the roof was MAGA. This was 24 hours after the FBI put out that he was left wing. And there are still people today that still MAGA because this is the thing that's around. So that's part of why he lost his job. Secondly, he lost his job because his ratings are in the toilet. We just spoke on this earlier, that in the last few years, profits are down by half. Okay, the Jimmy Joe, the ratings have been in the toilet. So honestly, this is probably just an excuse for Abe. Let him go. No, they're not. Go look it up. Go look up the ratings. Coco, sorry, I'll leave the chat in the chat for now. Second of all, I did not hear anybody questioning Kamala in, what year was it? I think it was last year when she was calling for censorship on holding social media platforms to a standard. Now, we want to talk freedom of speech. Like, we have the FCC that has the guidelines for broadcast media. We don't have anything like that for social media. And that I see as that I see as going against freedom of speech because, as long as it doesn't go against the platform's TOS, there are publicly
traded company. So why is the vice president saying she wants to put something out there to stifle people's freedom of speech from using their social media, when that is what that platform is? It's social media. It's not public broadcasting airways. So, I mean, it's not just the right that is doing all this. It's also Kamala back last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. Let me check the Google thing here. Yeah, it was, Harris has been stated that social medias must be held accountable for the context on their sites, particularly when they profit off of hate and as a megaphone for misinformation. Though, that was in 2019. I just heard this, it was like a soundbite that somebody put behind their video, and it was really interesting to me that I did not hear an uproar behind that, when that would be a stifling of freedom of speech, not the FCC actually enforcing their guidelines that they have had set for as forever. And that's what they did to Jimmy Kimmel. They enforced the guidelines that were already there, but I don't even think the FCC even had a hand in it.
Didn't do anything.
Exactly. I don't even if they did, then they'd be well within their right. They'd be well within their right. But I think it was just ABC because the ratings were plummeted, and it was a good excuse to get rid of it.
All right, Matt.
Once again, I think this those kind of conversation reveal the state of the education system in the United States. Most of you guys don't know what the First Amendment is and why it's applicable. People, you don't have the right to First Amendment on Twitter. Twitter determines what you can and cannot say. On YouTube, you also don't have that. You also don't have it inside my house. I don't have it inside your house or inside your car. Also, Coco, there's something interesting you said. You said Jimmy Kimmel put forward misinformation. And I'm glad you repeated misinformation a couple of times because I thought I had misheard you. So misinformation is purposely putting out bad information, right, on purpose. That's what misinformation is. It means to, misguided people, right? And that is exactly why the FCC, they took them off the air. They would be in the right frame of mind to do so because it's giving out bad information. And you cannot do that on the public airwave. The rules are very clear, and that would not have violated the First Amendment because the First Amendment applies only to the government. You are allowed to say whatever you want to say against the government. Coco, I cannot say whatever I want to say against you. It would not be, and I'll be liable for that. You will sue me, and I will lose. I cannot just say anything out of my mouth just because I feel like saying it in this First Amendment. I know most of you guys do not understand the First Amendment, and it pains me to hear this conversation. It pains me to hear this conversation.
We all know what the First Amendment is. The First Amendment is Coco was said.
Oh, we gotta let Matt land respectfully. Come on.
Coco was addressed. He did address Coco. He did address Coco. He did address Coco.
Yeah, that's fine.
Get back in that long ass TSA line, man. Yeah. Anyhow, with that being said, maybe one day we need to read the First Amendment, and that way Eric, who's the lawyer in the room, can explain it to us, and then we can have a course. I believe it's like the first day in class they do constitutional law, right, Eric? So we can probably do that, and then we can explain what the First Amendment is and how it's applicable and why this would not have violated First Amendment. Is that being taken off the air because it's something against the government? And now, if you take what he said against the shooter on the roof or Charlie Kirk, I will ask you this. Charlie Kirk is not part of the government, and the guy on the roof is also not part of the government. Right? And, people, you guys need to read, man.
So the First Amendment, I'm pretty sure us Americans, because he did address Coco, he did say Coco.
There's a cue.
I've been waiting. Isn't when someone is addressed and they can speak after?
In love with her. One of them wrote her a love letter insisting upon a private meeting. Ishan did not reply. The following day, the master gave a lecture to the group, and when it was over, Ishan arose. Addressing the one who had written her, she said, "If you really love me so much, come and embrace me now." There was an old woman in China who had supported a monk for over 20 years. She had built a little hut for him and fed him while he was meditating. Finally, she wondered just what progress he had made in all this time. To find out, she obtained the help of a girl rich in desire. Go and embrace him, she told her, and then ask him suddenly, what now? The girl called upon the monk, and without much ado caressed him, asking him what he was going to do about it. An old tree grows on a cold rock in winter, replied the monk somewhat poetically. Nowhere is there any warmth. The girl returned and related what he had said. To think I fed that fellow for 20 years, exclaimed the old woman in anger. He showed no consideration for your need, no disposition to explain your condition. He need not have responded to passion, but at least he should have evidenced some compassion. She at once went to the hut of the monk and burned it down. In the early days of the Meiji era, there lived a well-known wrestler called Onami, Great Waves. Onami was immensely strong and knew the art of wrestling. In his private bouts, he defeated even his teacher, but in public he was so bashful that his own pupils threw him. Onami felt he should go to a Zen master for help. Hakuju, a wandering teacher, was stopping in a little temple nearby, so Onami went to see him and told him of his great trouble. Great Waves is your name, the teacher advised. So stay in this temple tonight. Imagine that you are those billows. You are no longer a wrestler who is afraid. You are those huge waves sweeping everything before them, swallowing all in their path. Do this, and you will be the greatest wrestler in the land. The teacher retired. Onami sat in meditation, trying to imagine himself as waves. He thought of many different things. Then gradually he turned more and more to the feeling of the waves. As the night advanced, the waves became larger and larger. They swept away the flowers in their vases. Even the Buddha in the shrine was inundated. Before dawn, the temple was nothing but the ebb and flow of an immense sea.
Stemming from mistakes are not actionable. Kimmel's monologue is considered political commentary and satire, which falls under protected speech and not under the definition of news distortion. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibits the government from censoring speech or press. The FCC's website itself states that it has long held that the public interest is best served by permitting free speech expression of views. Legal experts and even an FCC commissioner have stated that the agency does not have a legal standing to judge what should be aired or to punish a broadcaster for police speech. The concept of jawboning. This is what your guy from the FCC just recently did. The real legal concern is not about the content of Kimball's comments, but about the government's potential use of jawboning. This is when a government official uses their influence or the threat of regulatory action like a license review to pressure a private company into censoring speech. Legal experts argue that this practice is unconstitutional and it's an end run around. They call it an end run around the First Amendment's prohibition on direct government censorship. Let me stop right there. So basically, okay, what we're learning here is that Kimmel didn't do anything wrong. The government, as far as the FCC is concerned, is limited. Their power is limited, okay? They don't have the power to judge what speech is considered permissible, what speeches isn't considered permissible. And what this dude used was the jawboning tactic. Basically, he used his power to put pressure on this property who's getting a license from the government to say, hey, either you do something about your life or we're going to take action against you. And sure enough, ABC took action against them. So you guys can try to spin this and make it seem like they're within their rights and all this bullshit. Because I kept hearing this guy saying it over and over again. You know what he did? You know, he didn't do anything, but if he would have took action, it would have been legal. No, it wouldn't have been legal. No, it wouldn't. How would it have been legal? The government doesn't have. Excuse me. I'm not going.
Go ahead.
No. The government. Listen. People talk for 3 years. I'm not gonna be that long.
60-second violation. Go ahead. Take your time.
People talk for 3 years. I'm not gonna be that long. What I'm saying is this here, okay? And that's fine. You can disagree with me. You can come on and disagree with me. I don't have a problem with that. What I'm saying though is that what I just read here clearly said that power is limited. They don't have the power to judge what is permissible speech and what isn't. They don't have the power to compel a company through outright snatching away of licenses or threatening them, to compel someone to shut their mouths up because they don't like what they're saying and things like this here. Like this shit, where we're at now, this is really fascist, authoritarian. Because your guy is on True Social, like that person said. He's on there talking about, and he was on the Air Force One. Jimmy Fallon is next. Get rid of him too, because he never says anything nice about me. He's in the Oval Office saying that shit. All Jimmy Kimmel ever did was say bad things about me. But so what? He has a right to fucking do that. What the fuck are you talking about? That's fucking free. If this dude's a comedian. Comedians are sad.
60-second violation.
Excuse me. You let them people talk for an hour, and I just only had 2 minutes, and now they're like, listen, what they don't like is truth. The truth, and I'm landing here because they listen. When the truth comes, they want to run you off the mic. So I'm gonna land right here. The point I'm making is this right here. Jimmy Kimmel didn't say anything that warranted the FCC or anybody for that matter to say that he needs to be censored. Okay. He is a comedian. Comedians are off the fucking table. If you fucking go after a comedian, then that means they're coming for every fucking body. And you people are defending this guy and defending what they're doing. And if you start backing that shit, don't come whining like those fucking Latinos who voted for him and then their family members got deported. We don't want to hear that shit.
I think I'm next.
Eric, after you done,
I think that I might have to, as a mod, invoke the 1 minute and 30-second rule because a lot of you niggas is going a long monologue.
Do it.
Honestly, it's crazy.
Do it.
We're gonna see if we don't have to. But look, with that being said, it's astonishing. And shout out to God, right? He coined this term. This is the first time I heard it being used. Cognitive offloading to AI, right? And this is what we heard here, right? And this is why, AI will never replace lawyers because the AI lacks the nuance that lawyers actually have about laws, case law, and this basic constitutionality, right? This guy read off something, and even when he read it, he wasn't able to actually discern and comprehend what he was saying, right? And he came to the wrong conclusion than what he actually read, right? So he read it, and then his conclusion was the FCC doesn't have the power to judge which speech can be said or what can't be said. Yes, they do. That's literally their power, right? They have the regulatory power to fine or revoke licensing based on what is said. And in other terms, to make it more simple, they have the power to judge what is said. That's just basic comprehension, right? So therefore, you lack the comprehension to realize what you actually stated from your AI prompt actually agreed with us. But with that being said, I'm with Matt, bro. A lot of you guys don't understand the First Amendment. It's very concerning. The FCC actually absolutely has the power to do what the FCC chairman said. And I said this earlier. Every administration that has done it, the FCC has been doing it since the 1930s, bro. This is not new. It's now since Trump is doing it that now all of a sudden everybody want to grab rules and say, oh, they're attacking the First Amendment. No, these niggas has been regulating speech since the 1930s, right? And it's been constantly reinforced that when you purposely and intentionally distort, right? Because he read that in his AI prompt, distort information, right? Then you're subject to FCC regulation, and that's what happened. Jimmy Kimmel lied. I know Coco wants to say he didn't lie. He did, right? And this is after 24 hours after the FBI press conference where he said the guy was not on the right. He had no connection to MAGA whatsoever, right? So when Jimmy Kimmel goes onto his show later that day and says, MAGA gang is trying to make it seem like he's not one of them, that's a lie. It's a flat out lie. And it's violating the FCC rules. They're lucky ABC didn't get a fine, right? And then to bag it home, right? When he had a chance to apologize and actually rectify not being fined under the FCC, right? If they were to go after him, he didn't do it. He doubled down on the incorrect information. That shows even more guilt. And so like there's this thing like where people want to point out to say, oh, Trump is fascist and authoritarian because he's using the government agencies to censor people. The FCC has been doing it under the Biden administration. I know a lot of you don't want to admit it, but during COVID, the FCC and the FTC sent out memos to broadcasters that they couldn't allow certain speech about the vaccines not working, or certain science topics surrounding the vaccine or the disease, the virus that was happening, right? They revoked licenses, they fined people, the broadcasters who was allowing this speech to happen on their broadcast, and nobody batted an eye. Nobody said anything, right? But now that there's Trump doing it, right, and everybody want to cry wolf. No, we have to keep the same standard. That's what I said. Like, both fucking sides sound retarded. Talk it out of your fucking your neck. Nobody has actual knowledge about how the First Amendment works, right? In the case law surrounding FCC regulation when it comes to speech, right? And this is just, I don't know, maybe Matt's right. Is this like the state of like the American education system? If I were to ask like most of you in here, like what are like all the clauses of the First Amendment, you couldn't name it, but you just go around the First Amendment as if you actually know what it is, right? Because Matt is absolutely correct. Your First Amendment is protection from government persecution, not other people persecuting you. Because if you say something your employer doesn't like, the government's not going to come in and say, oh yeah, your employer can't do it. They're not going to say that, right? If your neighbor said you kick you out of your house because you said something they didn't like, the government's not going to come in and say, oh, he can't kick you out because you said something. No, you're not free from repercussions from individuals about things you say, but you're free for persecution from the government for persecuting you about things you have said about them or other things, right? And that's all the First Amendment is. Like, you have to stop conflating shit, bro. Like, do research before you come in here and say something. Like, that's all I'm asking. And it's both sides, not just the left. The people on the right in here who was defending this shit, they also made a conflation about the First Amendment. They're wrong. Everybody's wrong. And it's just like, it hurts me and it pains me as somebody that actually knows this, that like people are like loud and they're so confidently wrong. Like they leave this room and think like that just it works that way and it actually doesn't. Like, I honestly feel bad.
There's the cue. There's the cue. There's the cue.
What's the cue? Where's the cue? Where's the cue? Thank you, Samoa.
Yeah, so that's another hour I got on the mic. All the interruptions. Hand it up.
Nigga, you was a 60-second violation.
Yeah, so that's another hour on the mic. Oh, that's 2 hours? All right. That's 3.
Area somewhere, bro. Like
4 hours. We got 5 hours.
And we got 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours.
Make my point so everybody be quiet so I can just land. As I was next in the queue, I was next in the queue.
Come on. I don't see the queue written anywhere.
I was literally. Can I get?
I'm not arguing with you, bro. Can I get the name so I can put it in the queue so nobody's confused about the order?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
All right, thank you.
Damn, bro.
Hold on. I said a long ass time ago.
FCC website in the chat.
Bro, come on. You see what you niggas do? Now you got this nigga done yelling in the background about some shit that he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, look, now look. Oh my God, bro. Say FCC one more time, bro. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how First Amendment violations work. I'm gonna show you. All right, look. Damn, where was that? Yeah, Coco's next in the queue. Then we got Concrete.
Wait. I wrote it down.
Wait, I wrote it down. You actually wanted to go? Wait, hold on.
I wrote it down.
You actually wanted to go?
When Matt was talking, I said put a
Wait, you actually wanted to go?
Yes.
I didn't know you wanted to go. I thought you were just trolling, bro.
Now we're talking.
Okay. You'll go after Coco, bro. I thought you were trolling. My bad.
So,
alright, look, wait.
Coco, bitch ass nigga, then Simone. Is that it?
Yeah, so we'll go Coco, Knowledge, you, Concrete, and Samoa, and et cetera, et cetera.
Simone was before.
You said who?
More was me.
Yeah, I guess the more will go for you. That's fine.
You have I agree, Mike.
All right. So, people have to be knowledgeable on this. A lot of people, they don't know their rights, and this is what you see like on those body cam videos. Niggas getting their ass beat by the police. You don't know your rights. Just shut up sometimes, bro. Like, and learn. Like, learn. Do like open a book. Like, if you did, or like go to a YouTube video. I'm pretty sure there's like somebody on YouTube that like breaks it down, and actually knows what they're talking about. And it's not that hard. Like, there's no excuse in 2025. Like, you having ignorance of the law. Like, it really isn't. Like, I honestly don't understand. But I'll land there.
Thank you so much for your submission, Eric. I'm glad you were able to get everything out that you wanted. Amen. Now, when we talk about the First Amendment, I just want everyone to. I'm just going to go straight into it. So the freedom of speech granted by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects your right to express ideas and information without government interference or regulation. Now, there are different forms of speech that this protects, right? Now, one of the strongest forms is the political speech, right? Now, when we're talking about Jimmy Kimmel, now, when I say an infringement on the First Amendment right, I am talking about where Trump as sitting president of the United States of America. I don't care about the FCC right now. I don't care, and I can't say the words that I really want to say because my baby girl just woke up from her nap and she's coming to get my lap. Give me some. You want more chips? You go. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, when I talk about the First Amendment right being infringed upon, Trump advocated for not only Kimball but Colbert to be taken off of the air. Okay, simply because they didn't speak about Trump nicely or put him in a positive light. We have a sitting president advocating for individuals that don't put him in a positive light to be taken off of the air. Now, with that being said, so with that being said, he then uses someone that is in his pocket who happens to be a chairman of the FCC to get him pulled off of the air. That is what happened. So you want to go outside?